Take a look at these two stock market charts. What do you see here? The chart above shows the Nifty Auto chart, wherein the Nifty Auto sector gave a negative 3% returns in the past 1 year. Compare that with the chart below, Tata Motors chart, which has given 31% returns in the past 1 year. Why is that the case? Why is the entire auto industry not performing, whereas Tata Motors seems to be on a dream run? So if you are an investor in Tata Motors, or if you're someone who wants to invest in Tata Motors stock, please watch this video till the very end. I'll be telling you about the broad performance of Tata Motors business. Why is the share outperforming the entire auto sector? What are the financials involved? What are the risks involved? And most importantly, is Tata Motors emerging as the new leader in the auto space? All of that and much more, let's find out in this video. First, let us talk about the broad performance of Tata Motors. Tata Motors has sold more SUVs in the past 4 months than any other automobile player in the market. But why am I talking about SUVs? That is because SUVs constitute 42% of all the passenger vehicles that are currently sold in India. And with the rising market share of SUVs, Tata Motors just seems to be at the right place at the right time. In the early part of 2021, Tata Motors had a 10% market share with Hyundai as the market leader there. But slowly and gradually, with its products gaining traction in the market, it has outsmarted, it has beaten Hyundai to the number one spot and has maintained that position for the past 4 months now. The extent of this domination is such that Tata Motors now holds a 22% market share in this SUV space. So visualize this. Here is a space that is consistently gaining traction in the market, and Tata Motors seems to be performing extremely well in this category of sport utility vehicles, that is SUVs. Now that is not the only reason for outperformance of Tata Motors. We are in a time where the entire auto sector is currently suffering from a semiconductor shortage. While Tata Motors is also a part of it, it has also been able to successfully figure out a way to keep their production lines running at the same capacity. How have they been able to do that? Whether it's reconfiguring cars, or contacting the manufacturers directly for computer chips, or producing cars with certain redundant parts missing, Tata Motors has been extremely innovative to tackle the problem of semiconductor shortage. And to some extent, it has also helped them to ride through this problem. In the future, when this problem subsides, when there is enough availability of semiconductors, Tata Motors will only be in a position to expand further from its current levels. All of that is also reflecting in their stock price for the past 1 year. But let us now understand what is the financial performance of Tata Motors in the past few years. If you take a look at this chart that shows the revenue growth for Tata Motors in the past 5 years, you will see that the trend has been highly uneven. The revenue has not grown consistently. In fact, for the past 2 to 3 years, we see a declining trend. Why has that happened? Now, Tata Motors is a company that makes more than 60 to 70% of its revenue from outside India. And given the uncertainty in the global market, given the uncertainty around the sales of Jaguar Land Rover, which makes close to 70 to 80% of its overall sales, the revenue pressure is there for you to see. On top of that, the semiconductor shortage at a global level has also contributed to their revenues being affected. If you take a look at their profit, that has also been highly uneven. In fact, for the past 3 years, the company has reported losses and mammoth losses for the past 3 years. But it is expected that in the future, as the semiconductor shortage improves, these numbers are going to be better. But for the next 1 to 2 years, we can expect to continue seeing such pressures on their overall financials. But in spite of all that, why do we see such a dream run in the Tata Motors stock? In 1 year, giving a returns of 31% is a great achievement for the business. Why has all of that happened? Let's find out. Tata Motors has been reaping up the benefits of a very refreshed product portfolio for some time now. But it is the Tata Punch that undoubtedly stands ahead from the rest of the products and has helped Tata Motors reach the number one spot in the SUV segment. Just to give you a perspective, Tata Motors sells close to 10,000 units of Tata Punch on a monthly basis. This is why the volume growth for Tata Motors has been extremely good. For the entire SUV space, Tata Motors used to sell close to 10,000 units in Q1 FY22. In Q2, it became 13,500. And in January 2022 alone, in 1 month only, Tata Motors clocked a sales of 28,000 units of SUVs. 7 out of 10 cars that Tata Motors sell belong to an SUV. That's the kind of dominance that Tata Motors has in a space that is consistently growing and increasing its market share in the overall automobile space. Now, in light of all these numbers and all these arguments, what would the future of Tata Motors look like? And does it have the ability to bag the number one spot in the auto space? Let's find out. Now, given the kind of demand and given the kind of traction that the SUVs are seeing in the current market, Tata Motors stands to make a very healthy growth in the next couple of quarters. But we also need to understand this and take it with a pinch of salt that Tata Motors does not have any new product coming in 2022-23. This might cause some sort of a slowdown in their sales growth, but right now the demand for their existing products is so high that they do not even need to come up with new models. But the nature of the automobile industry is such that every big player in the market does come up with 1 or 2 new models every year. And I'm a little skeptical about how this is going to play out in the future for Tata Motors. Overall, another key challenge for Tata Motors would be to improve their financials. To what extent will the current SUV growth for Tata Motors play a role in improving their overall financials? That is something we will have to watch out keenly by understanding the quarter-on-quarter results. But I am very optimistic on Tata Motors business overall. Right now, the stock is trading in the range of 380 to 400 rupees. I do expect that in the near future, it will definitely go back to its previous highs of 500 and maybe reach 550 or 600 levels in the coming few years. All right, I hope you enjoyed this analysis. Do subscribe to Finance Lens, follow us on Instagram, and I'll see you the next time.